The Vorkath warship, Eternal Dominion, hung in high orbit above Earth, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight into prismatic patterns across the planet's atmosphere. Supreme Commander Vexthor stood on the command deck, all four of his secondary eyes focused on the small research vessel that had stumbled into their path, while his primary eyes studied tactical readouts. Primitive propulsion systems, he noted, mandibles clicking in amusement. No quantum shielding. Not even basic gravitational manipulation. How did they even make it this far from their world? The research vessel, Horizon Seeker, had been Earth's proudest achievement just hours ago. Now it floated helplessly in the grip of the Vorkath's tractor beam, its lone fusion engine powerless against alien technology centuries beyond human understanding. Inside the Horizon Seeker, Commander Zura Hassan watched her crew maintain their composure despite the terror she knew they must be feeling. 20 years in Earth's Space Force had prepared her for first contact, but not like this. Not with a ship that made their most advanced technology look like stone tools. Engineering reports all systems nominal. Commander, Lieutenant James Reeves announced from his station, voice steady despite the sweat beading on his dark skin. Though I don't think that matters much against whatever they're using to hold us. Zara nodded, her short black hair catching the red emergency lights that had activated when their systems were compromised. Status of the emergency beacon. Signal away before they locked us down. Communications Officer Priya Patel confirmed. Earth Defense Command will know we've made contact, but given our distance, help won't arrive in time, Zura finished. I know. But that's not why I asked. She stood from her command chair, straightening her midnight blue uniform. I wanted to make sure Earth knows what's coming. The rest is up to us. On the Eternal Dominion, Vexthor gave the order his species had issued to countless civilizations before. Begin the subjugation sequence. Standard protocol for pre-quantum species. The Vorkath ship's weapon systems hummed to life, targeting arrays locking onto key points of the human vessel. The process was routine. Disable their primitive defenses, extract any useful technical data, and eliminate the crew. Such was the fate of species too weak to protect themselves in the grand game of galactic dominance. The first plasma bolt struck the Horizon Seeker's hull, and Vexthor's sensor officer chittered in confusion. Supreme Commander, their hull. It's adapting. Impossible, Vexthor snapped. They have no energy shielding, no defensive systems of note. But the sensor readings didn't lie. Where the plasma had struck, the human ship's hull was changing at the molecular level, its very structure shifting to better resist the energy weapon's frequency. Inside the Horizon Seeker, Zura allowed herself a grim smile as alerts flashed across her command console. The ship's experimental adaptive materials were working exactly as the engineers had theorized. Humanity had learned long ago that the best defense wasn't always a bigger shield. Sometimes it was becoming something your enemy's weapons couldn't hurt. Structural integrity at 92% and holding, Reeves reported, a note of fierce pride entering his voice. The hull is rewriting itself faster than their weapons can damage it. Send the signal, Zara ordered. Let's show them what happens when you corner humans. Throughout the ship, hidden systems began to activate. Not defensive shields or weapon arrays, but something far more sophisticated. Microscopic machines that had been integrated into every surface of the vessel came alive, beginning a transformation that no alien race had ever encountered. On the Eternal Dominion's command deck, Vexthor watched in growing horror as the human ship began to change. Its smooth hull sprouted crystalline growths that matched the frequency of his own vessel's structure. Its primitive engine reconfigured itself, quantum particles suddenly dancing where fusion fire had burned moments before. Impossible, he whispered again, but this time there was fear in his voice. They're learning, adapting, not just resisting, but becoming. Like us, his science officer finished, all 6 eyes wide with terror. They're becoming like us, but faster than any evolution should allow. Zura's voice crackled across their command frequency, the human's tone carrying none of the fear or submission they had expected. "We tried to warn you, but you didn't give us the chance. Humanity spent its entire history adapting to survive on a world that tried to kill us every day. We learned to take what kills us and make it part of our strength. And now, thanks to you, we know exactly how your technology works." The Horizon Seeker broke free of the tractor beam, its structure now a hybrid of human engineering and reversed-engineered Vorkath technology. Where there had been a simple research vessel, there now floated something new. Proof that humanity's greatest weapon had always been its ability to learn from those who underestimated them. "You should run now," Zura suggested, her ship's newly formed quantum cannons powering up. "And warn everyone you meet. Earth isn't prey. We're the evolution that nobody saw coming." The battle that followed would be remembered as the day humanity announced its presence to the galaxy. Not with diplomacy or declarations, but with a demonstration of why you should never, ever assume that a species' current technological level reflects their true potential. First Contact's last mistake was thinking humans would break. Instead, they learned. Instead, they adapted. Instead, they evolved. And the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Marcus Blackwood stood before the United Earth Defense Council, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display of the Vorkath fleet movements. 6 months had passed since the Horizon Seeker incident, and humanity had used every second to prepare. "They're coming back," he announced, his deep voice carrying across the chamber. "Not with a single ship this time. Our long-range sensors detect over 300 vessels, all larger than the one Commander Hassan encountered." The chamber erupted in murmurs, but Blackwood noticed they weren't fearful. There was an edge of anticipation in the room, the same fierce determination he'd seen spreading across human space since their first contact. "The Vorkath still think this is about superior technology," he continued, zooming in on their fleet formations. "They haven't realized that they gave us something far more valuable than technical specs when they attacked the Horizon Seeker. They gave us proof that we could adapt, that we could evolve." Dr. Isabella Rodriguez, head of Earth's Adaptive Technologies Division, stepped forward. Her holographic displays showed the transformation spreading through human technology and biology since the encounter. "Every piece of data from the Horizon Seeker has accelerated our development by decades. But more importantly, the stress of the encounter triggered changes in the crew themselves." The displays shifted to show cellular scans of the Horizon Seeker's survivors. Their DNA had been altered by the experience, not damaged but enhanced, as if humanity's potential had been waiting for the right catalyst to emerge. "We're not just copying their technology," Rodriguez explained, her eyes bright with scientific enthusiasm. "We're improving it. The human capacity for adaptation isn't just technological. It's written into our very cells. Every encounter makes us stronger." Admiral Blackwood nodded grimly. "Which brings us to our defense strategy. The Vorkath expect to find a primitive species desperately copying their superior technology. Instead, they're going to face something they've never encountered in all their centuries of conquest, an enemy that grows stronger with every attack." The main display shifted to show Earth's orbital defense network. What had been simple satellite arrays and space stations were now hybrid structures, their surfaces rippling with the same adaptive materials that had saved the Horizon Seeker. But these weren't mere copies of Vorkath technology. They were distinctly human innovations, unpredictable and ever-changing. "We've established listening posts throughout the solar system," Lieutenant General Raj Patel reported, highlighting dozens of seemingly empty regions of space. "But not the kind they'll be expecting. These posts don't just detect enemy movements, they learn from them. Each scan of their ships, each interception of their communications, teaches our systems how to be more effective." In high orbit above Mars, Commander Zura Hassan watched the first of Earth's new defense fleet undergo its final trials. The ships looked nothing like traditional human vessels, nor did they mirror Vorkath design. They were something entirely new, learning machines built around cores of human ingenuity. All ships reporting ready, Commander, Reeves announced from his position beside her. The lieutenant had refused a promotion, insisting on staying with the officer who had shown humanity how to punch back against the impossible. The Vorkath think they're coming to finish what they started, Zara said, watching her fleet's adaptive hulls shimmer in the Martian sunlight. They don't understand that they never had us at our weakest. Every moment since first contact has been about getting stronger. The alien fleet arrived exactly as predicted, their crystalline ships filling Earth's skies like artificial stars. Supreme War Commander Kelfar, who had ordered Vexthor's failed mission, stood on his flagship's command deck with all the confidence of a species that had never known defeat. "Begin the extermination sequence," he ordered, mandibles clicking in anticipation. "Show these primitives the price of defiance." The first wave of Vorkath ships launched their attack, weapons blazing with energies that could shatter planets. But where their beams struck Earth's defenses, something unprecedented happened. The human structures didn't just resist. They consumed the energy, grew stronger, evolved. "Impossible," Kelfar hissed, watching his initial strike disappear into defensive systems that seemed to hunger for more. "No species adapts this quickly. No technology learns this fast." "That's where you're wrong." Zara's voice came through on all frequencies, her fleet appearing from hidden positions throughout the solar system. "Rapid adaptation isn't our technology. It's who we are. Everything that tries to kill us just becomes part of our evolution." What followed was unlike any battle in galactic history. Traditional military doctrine called for overwhelming force, for superior technology to crush inferior opponents. But how do you overwhelm an enemy that grows stronger with every attack? How do you maintain technological superiority against opponents who can turn your own weapons against you in minutes rather than centuries? The answer, as the Vorkath learned, was that you couldn't. Earth's defensive systems absorbed and redirected their energy weapons. Human ships took hits that should have vaporized them, their hulls transforming to channel the power into their own systems. And with every passing moment, humanity's counterattacks became more precise, more devastating, more evolved. Admiral Blackwood watched from Earth Defense Command as the battle unfolded. "Send word to all human colonies and outposts," he ordered. "The age of hiding is over. Show them exactly what happens when you back Deathworlders into a corner." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden strength revealed itself. Defensive platforms emerged from gas-giant atmospheres where no structure should survive. Asteroid bases that had been disguised as simple mining operations unveiled weapon systems that adapted faster than Vorkath shields could compensate. But it was the human ships that truly demonstrated why underestimating Earth had been such a catastrophic mistake. They didn't just fight. They learned, evolved, and improved with every exchange. Tactics that worked against them once became useless in minutes. Weapons that scored direct hits found their energy redirected and repurposed. "You had a chance for peaceful contact," Zara transmitted to the Vorkath flagship as her fleet closed in. "Instead, you chose to teach us war. Consider this your final lesson in human nature. We don't just survive conflict. We master it." Evolution under fire. Dr. Kira Patel stood in her laboratory aboard the research station, Prometheus, surrounded by holographic displays of human DNA samples. Each display told the same remarkable story. Humanity was changing at a rate that defied conventional evolutionary theory. "Look at this," she said to the assembled team of xenobiologists and genetic researchers. "These markers weren't present in any human genome before first contact. It's as if our DNA was waiting for the right stimulus to activate dormant potential." The samples came from veterans of the recent battles, soldiers and crew members who had survived direct exposure to Vorkath weapons. Instead of radiation damage or cellular degradation, their genetic code showed signs of deliberate reorganization. "Every attack triggers new adaptations," Kira explained, highlighting sequences that seemed to pulse with possibilities. "But it's not random mutation. There's a pattern here, as if our bodies are solving problems at the genetic level. In orbit above Jupiter, those adaptations were being put to the test. The Vorkath strike force had ambushed the mining colonies in the gas giant's orbit, expecting easy prey. Instead, they found humans who could now survive in environments that should have been instantly lethal. Commander Hassan's voice crackled over the research station's comms. "Dr. Patel, we've got more data for you." The crew of Mining Station Delta just survived direct exposure to vacuum. Not with suits, their bodies adapted in real time. Kira rushed to analyze the incoming scans. The miners' cells had restructured themselves, creating organic barriers against the vacuum of space. Some had even developed the ability to process alternative energy sources, drawing power directly from Jupiter's intense radiation belts. "It's not just technology anymore," she breathed, watching the data stream in. "We're becoming something new, something that can survive anywhere, adapt to anything." On the Vorkath homeworld, their highest scientific council was in chaos. Supreme geneticist Renthar presented the latest findings with trembling appendages. "The humans are impossible," he declared, displaying their battle recordings. "Their adaptations violate every law of evolution we've documented across 1,000 species. They don't just survive our weapons, they become immune to them. Then they learn to use those same principles against us." The council chamber erupted in chittering arguments. One scientist collapsed their sensory membranes in denial. "No species can evolve this quickly. It's against all natural law." "Perhaps," Renthar suggested, his voice dropping to a horrified whisper, "we should consider that their world made them this way. Earth's history shows constant catastrophic changes. Ice ages, asteroid impacts, rapid climate shifts. They evolved on a planet that tried to kill them millions of ways. We didn't find a primitive species. We found the ultimate survivors." Back on Prometheus, Kira made another breakthrough. "Admiral Blackwood, you need to see this," she transmitted urgently. "The adaptations aren't just individual. They're communicable. When adapted humans come in contact with others, their genetic changes can spread, teaching other human cells how to evolve." Blackwood's hologram appeared in her lab, his expression intent. "You're saying we can share these adaptations, deliberately enhance our troops?" "Better than that," Kira said, pulling up new data. "We can guide the evolution. Now that we understand the mechanism, we can help our people adapt proactively instead of waiting for attacks." The implications were staggering. Humanity had spent its history being shaped by natural selection. Now they could shape themselves, becoming whatever they needed to be to survive and thrive. In deep space, a Vorkath science vessel discovered the price of this knowledge firsthand. They had captured 3 human soldiers, intent on studying their strange biology. Within hours, their laboratory was compromised. The captured humans had adapted to the alien atmosphere, developed immunity to their sedatives, and even learned to interface directly with Vorkath technology through bioelectric fields their bodies had generated. "You still don't understand what you're dealing with," one of the escaped soldiers transmitted as they commandeered the vessel. "Humans don't just adapt to survive. We take what we learn and make it part of ourselves. Every time you attack us, you're just teaching us new ways to be stronger." The Vorkath were learning a harsh lesson. Their weapons of war had become humanity's tools of evolution. Each attack, each attempt to destroy or contain them, only served to unlock more of humanity's adaptive potential. Commander Hassan received Kira's reports with grim satisfaction. "Have you transmitted this data to all Earth forces?" she asked during their secure conference. "Better," Kira replied. "We've begun implementing proactive adaptation protocols. Every human ship now carries genetic templates for surviving everything we've encountered, and we're learning more every day." "The Vorkath think they can win through superior firepower," Hassan said, watching her crew demonstrate abilities that would have seemed impossible months ago. "They don't realize they're just accelerating our evolution. Every weapon they use, every technology they deploy, becomes part of our biological library." In her lab, Kira studied a new set of samples. These came from children born to veterans of the first battles. Their DNA already showed signs of the enhanced adaptive capabilities. Humanity wasn't just changing. They were passing these changes on to the next generation. We're not just fighting a war, she realized, watching the genetic dance of possibility play out in her samples. We're becoming something that evolution itself never dreamed of. A species that can consciously direct its own adaptation, that grows stronger from every challenge. The Vorkath had thought they were dealing with primitives who had barely mastered spaceflight. Instead, they had awakened humanity's full potential, creating exactly the kind of adversary they had always feared, one that could not be defeated because it would always adapt, always evolve, always come back stronger. The hunter becomes the hunted. The Vorkath border outpost never saw the attack coming. One moment their sensors showed empty space. The next, human ships seemed to materialize from the void itself. Their hulls had adapted to bend light around them, making them virtually invisible until they chose to be seen. Commander Zara Hassan stood on the bridge of the UES Adaptive, a vessel that barely resembled its original form. Like its crew, the ship had evolved far beyond its initial design. Its hull rippled with crystalline structures that could reconfigure themselves in response to any threat, while organic-synthetic hybrid systems pulsed with energy that defied conventional physics. Multiple Vorkath signatures detected. Lieutenant Reeves reported, his enhanced neural interface allowing him to process sensor data at impossible speeds. Their shield frequencies are adapting, but not fast enough. They haven't evolved like we have. Show them what we've learned, Zara ordered, her own enhanced biology allowing her to interface directly with her ship's systems. The Adaptive's weapon arrays shifted, each blast precisely calibrated to exploit weaknesses that humanity had discovered through countless encounters. The Vorkath defenders found themselves facing an enemy that seemed to know their every move before they made it. Human ships absorbed their attacks and responded with devastating precision, their weapons bypassing shields that had once been considered impenetrable. On the Vorkath homeworld, Supreme War Commander Kelthar received the reports with growing dread. How did they find this outpost? Our stealth systems are beyond their technological level. His aide, a younger warrior named Vixtal, clicked his mandibles nervously. Commander, they didn't need to detect our stealth systems. The humans who escaped our research vessels, their bodies had adapted to sense our energy signatures directly. They've become living detection systems. In Earth's Combined Fleet Command, Admiral Blackwood coordinated the offensive with cold precision. Holographic displays showed human forces advancing across multiple sectors, each strike precisely calculated to maximize the learning potential for their adaptive capabilities. Status report from Dr. Patel's team. His AI assistant announced, its own code evolving alongside humanity. The latest genetic templates have been distributed to all frontline forces. Our troops can now survive in environments that would have killed them instantly 6 months ago. Blackwood studied the tactical display, noting how each engagement made their forces stronger. The Vorkath still think this is about territory, he mused. They haven't realized that every battle, win or lose, serves our evolution. Deep in Vorkath space, a research station discovered this truth firsthand. They had developed a new weapon, a device that could theoretically disrupt the human ability to adapt. The test subject was a captured scout ship with a crew of 5. The weapon fired, its energy designed to scramble both technological and biological adaptation. For a moment, it seemed to work. The human ship's systems faltered, its crew's enhanced capabilities temporarily suppressed. Then something unprecedented happened. The humans didn't just adapt to the weapon. They transcended it. Their ship's hybrid systems developed new pathways, while their bodies reorganized at the quantum level to exist in states that the weapon couldn't affect. Fascinating approach, the scout ship's captain transmitted as their systems came back online, stronger than ever. We've never seen adaptation suppression technology before. Thank you for the lesson. The research station's destruction served as a stark message. Humanity had moved beyond merely reacting to threats. They were actively seeking out new challenges to overcome, new capabilities to absorb into their ever-expanding arsenal of adaptations. Dr. Kira Patel, now stationed aboard the Adaptive, monitored these evolutionary leaps with growing excitement. "Every encounter reshapes us," she explained during a briefing with Commander Hassan. "The Vorkath think they're fighting a war of attrition, but they're actually accelerating our development by centuries." The tactical displays showed the proof of her words. Human ships now moved in ways that defied conventional physics, their crews demonstrating abilities that bordered on the supernatural. They could survive in hard vacuum, process radiation as energy, and even manipulate gravitational fields through bioengineered organs that had evolved in response to Vorkath gravity weapons. "We're approaching their core worlds," Zara noted, studying the star charts. "Their entire civilization is based on the assumption that they're at the peak of evolution. How will they handle discovering they're actually catalysts for something far beyond their understanding?" The answer came sooner than expected. A massive Vorkath fleet assembled to make a final stand, gathering weapons and defenses that could have destroyed Earth's entire military 6 months ago. "Let them come," Admiral Blackwood transmitted to all human forces. "Every weapon they bring is just another tool for our evolution. Every defense they mount teaches us new ways to adapt." The battle that followed would be studied by species across the galaxy for generations to come. The Vorkath deployed technology that could shatter planets, expecting to overwhelm human adaptation with sheer firepower. Instead, they watched in horror as humanity absorbed each attack, evolved beyond it, and turned that same power back against them. Zara stood on her bridge, feeling her ship and crew evolve in real time as they faced challenges that should have been insurmountable. "You know what the greatest irony is," she transmitted to the Vorkath command ship. "If you had approached us peacefully, we would have evolved together. Instead, you taught us to evolve through conflict. And now you're facing an enemy that grows stronger with every attempt to destroy it." The Vorkath fleet's formation began to break as ships fell to weapons they themselves had inspired. Their most powerful technologies became tools of their own destruction as humanity demonstrated what it truly meant to be an adaptive species. This wasn't just a military victory. It was evolution in action, a species shaped by countless challenges, finally showing the galaxy why underestimating Earth had been the greatest mistake in Vorkath history. The great crystalline spires of Vorkath Prime stretched toward the stars, their once pristine surfaces now reflecting the lights of battle. Above the alien capital, humanity's evolved fleet held position, their hybrid vessels demonstrating power that would have seemed godlike just a year ago. In the Grand Council chamber, Supreme War Commander Kelthar faced the bitter truth he had denied for too long. "We didn't start a war," he told the assembled Vorkath leadership, his mandibles clicking in distress. "We initiated an evolutionary cascade. And now we face something that has surpassed every limitation we thought existed." Admiral Blackwood's hologram appeared in the chamber, his image projected by technology that merged human and Vorkath engineering. Beside him stood Commander Hassan and Dr. Patel, their evolved forms a testament to how far humanity had come. "Your civilization has a choice to make," Blackwood stated, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's transformation. "This isn't about surrender or subjugation. It's about understanding what happens next." The Vorkath scientists present chittered nervously as their instruments registered the incredible adaptations in the human representatives. Even as they stood there, human biology continued to evolve, finding new ways to interface with the alien environment. "You could have been our teachers," Dr. Patel said, her enhanced senses detecting the complex emotional pheromones the Vorkath were releasing. "Instead, you chose to be our crucible. But that choice doesn't have to define our future relationship." On screens throughout the chamber, data streamed showing the extent of human evolution. Colonies thriving in environments that should have been lethal. Ships merging biological and technological adaptation in ways that rewrote the laws of physics. Humans developing abilities that bordered on the miraculous. "We're not here to destroy you," Zara added, her presence carrying the authority of one who had led humanity's evolution from first contact to this moment. We're here to offer you a choice about how your species evolves from this point forward. Supreme geneticist Renthar stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overcoming generations of militant doctrine. You've achieved in months what we thought impossible in millennia. Your adaptations, they're beyond anything we imagined possible. Because you imagined evolution as a linear process, Kira explained, projecting models of human genetic development. You saw it as a ladder to climb. We discovered it's more like a web of infinite possibilities, each challenge opening new paths of development. Throughout Vorkath space, their civilization watched and listened. Ships that could have destroyed worlds held position peacefully. Humans who could have torn through their defenses like paper stood ready for dialogue instead of destruction. Your society is built on the idea of superior evolution, Admiral Blackwood observed. Now you face a species that has shown you what evolution truly means. The question is, can you adapt to this new reality? The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just defeated their weapons. They had transcended the very limitations the Vorkath had thought universal. Every attack, every attempt to destroy them, had only served to prove how wrong their assumptions had been. We offer cooperation, Zara declared. A chance to explore evolution's true potential together. Your knowledge combined with our adaptability. Or you can choose extinction, not because we would destroy you, but because you would remain static in a galaxy that now knows better. From the Adaptive's bridge, Zara watched the Vorkath leadership debate their future. Her ship's enhanced sensors detected the subtle shifts in their biology, the first hints that even this stress was causing them to begin their own evolutionary journey. They're starting to adapt, Dr. Patel noted with satisfaction. The very pressure of this moment is triggering changes in their genetic structure, slower than ours, but meaningful. Admiral Blackwood smiled. Then they've already made their choice, whether they realize it or not. Evolution isn't just about survival or dominance. It's about finding new ways to exist, to cooperate, to grow. The response from the Vorkath Council came not in words but in actions. Across their space, weapon systems powered down. Research facilities began transmitting data about peaceful applications of their technology. Ships that had been built for war transformed to serve exploration and cooperation. We choose to evolve, Kelthar announced, his own biology already showing signs of adaptation to the new paradigm. Not through combat, but through collaboration. You've shown us that true strength lies not in domination, but in the ability to change. As human and Vorkath scientists began sharing data, as ships from both species started working together to explore the galaxy, a new understanding emerged. Evolution wasn't a race to be won or a weapon to be wielded. It was a dance of infinite possibility, a journey that became richer when shared. You know, Zara said to her crew as they prepared to escort the first joint scientific expedition. They thought they were superior because they had conquered evolution. We showed them something better, how to be partners in it. The galaxy watched as two species that had begun in conflict now led the way toward a new future. Humanity's ability to adapt had not just saved them from extinction. It had shown all intelligent life a new path forward. Not through dominance or submission, but through the endless possibilities that arose when evolution became a choice rather than a circumstance. The Deathworlders had not just survived. They had transcended the very concept of survival, becoming something that could thrive anywhere, adapt to anything, and most importantly, teach others to do the same. And in the vast expanse of space, countless other species began to wonder, if this was what humanity had achieved in just 1 year of challenged evolution, what marvels would the next century bring? The age of static existence was over. The era of conscious evolution had begun.